No ads, no 90-second sponsor reads for garbage you'll never buy, just 10-plus minutes of pure entertainment, all because of these heroes. Maybe you'd like to become one of them at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. Trump is your president, and my comedy goldmine. So yeah, I said that 10 years ago this November, when Trump won his first election. I said that at a time before the rules changed. Or people changed? See, I grew up watching SNL and late-night comedy shows, which always made fun of the president, no matter who he was. I watched years of Dana Carvey doing a George Bush impression. Not gonna do it, wouldn't be prudent. Making fun of how he lied about taxes. One of the first Mad magazines I had as a kid was making fun of Bush throwing up at the Japanese dinner. Even though I didn't really know what it meant at the time, I was 10, what I knew was, the president gets made fun of when they do something stupid or funny. In my teens, I very much understood all the Clinton jokes about him banging the interns, the oral office jokes. I was 21 when our second Bush, W, did his infamous Fool Me Once speech, one of the many moments in his presidency where we laughed at how inarticulate he was. What I never saw, perhaps because social media didn't really exist the way it does now, perhaps because I was young and didn't know any political sycophants, was anyone wetting their pants over it, getting legitimately angry at those jokes. Families and friendships ended over picking a side due to political comedy. Were you a traitor to your country if you laughed at Vice President Dan Quayle spelling potato with an E on the end in 1992? That moment basically ended his career, in fact. No one took him seriously after that. Such a small incident, and it damaged the entire credibility of a politician who's basically, but not really, second in command. Gerald Ford tripped coming out of Air Force One once in the 1970s, and The Simpsons was still portraying him as a dumb, clumsy oaf well into the 90s. And it seemed universally funny. Meanwhile, Trump's done almost all these things and more. Constantly misspeaking like George W., tripping over things like Gerald Ford, cheating on his wife like Bill Clinton, maybe doing some other things that old Billy was doing, but we'll never see those on redacted files, having terrible spelling like Quayle. Remember hamburgers and kofevi? Anyway, despite all of this, he managed to build up such a cult-like following that you can't call it a cult-like following. You're in a cult for saying we're in a cult. Now where's my red hat and ear bandage? If you make fun of Trump, you have Trump derangement syndrome, according to his acolytes. Suddenly, that comedy goldmine, it turns out, every time you send a canary down there, it just winds up dead. Buckley, I think that's only coal mine. Shut up. The point is, since his re-election in 2024, despite my channel always covering society and pop culture, which the president is both, I've talked about him less than I've talked about Chapel Roan. And there are a few reasons for that. One of which was illustrated extremely well just last week or so when Trump posted an AI-generated photo of himself as Jesus. Call it Little Tykes Nets because this should be easy dunking for everyone, right? Doesn't matter your political affiliation. In fact, if you're on the right, and if you're religious, you should be even more critical than the godless heathens on the left, no? That old storybook about Jesus, pretty sure it's got a list of about 10 rules or something, correct me if I'm wrong, one of which is that you are to worship no other gods, and another being that you're not supposed to create images of other people as gods. He posted it, by the way, while being in a feud with the Pope. This leads me to the second reason that makes it so difficult to do comedy about Trump. Nothing you can say about what he's doing is funnier than what he's doing. Why is the President of the United States of America in a feud with the Pope? And even better, you have Catholics and Christians taking the president's side. There's nothing else I can write about that that's funnier. You know how I review songs from time to time? Yeah, not often enough, Cuckley. That's what you should stick to. It'd be like reviewing a Weird Al song and then trying to be funnier than the song. It's pointless. But let's talk about that Jesus picture, Trump's response to what little backlash there was, and the defense of it from his faithful. So first off, Trump of course didn't make it. I don't think he knows how to use AI. No, he stole it of course from an internet character by the name of Nick Adams. I don't know if I've ever talked about this guy before. He's hard to pin down exactly. I'm sure he's conservative, but I don't know if he's like, say, Cat Turd, Laura Loomer, or Libs of TikTok, where they really believe every word they're saying. Nick Adams seems to have figured out the art of rage bait early on, because he's basically become a parody of Republicans while being a Republican, of sorts. He's not even really from this country. He was born in Australia and came here as an adult. He posts things like this. President Trump looks strong and ready to save the world. Video of an exhausted Trump with slumped shoulders lumbering into Mar-a-Lago. Or this. President Trump does not make mistakes. He's always right. I think if I had to describe him, he's the equivalent of a man walking up to a woman in a crowded bar, slapping her ass, and walking away so the woman thinks someone else did it, and instigating a fight. Anyway, he was the originator of the Trump Jesus picture. It was posted back in February. In April, Trump posted over on Truth Social, and yes, does see a little backlash. More than expected for him, I guess, so he deleted it. Are there two princes in that picture? Because here comes the spin doctors.
Did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one.
But wait, this gets funnier. Again, nothing I can say about it is more hilarious than reality. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, his latest blonde mouthpiece, said that the image was doctored. So, take your pick, which is funnier. Trump is a moron who was told to say the image was doctored, so he said, I thought I was a doctor, or he actually thinks the picture of him in white and red flowing robes, laying his hands upon someone with light coming out of them, depicted him as a doctor and not your favorite Lord and Savior. Or that people accepted either of these ridiculous answers. A poll done on April 20th had 32% of people who identified as MAGA Republicans say that they believed he was a doctor. And another 32% of them were too cowardly to offer an opinion, or they're fucking Westworld bots. This doesn't look like anything to me. It's appropriate that this poll was done on 420, because you'd have to be high as a kite to look at that picture and go, yeah, that's what a doctor looks like. Again, in the 1990s, this would have fed late night shows and SNL for a year. Now, he'll have said or done 10 things crazier than this before I even get the chance to release this video. And his defenders will have performed the meme originally meant for Elon over and over. Like a few days later when he suggested that soldiers with PTSD and depression should, instead of taking drugs, just try working as hard as he does. We're not laughing at the absurdity of that? Oh no, I can't. I've got TDS. The only thing that can cure it is ivermectin and prayer. Just not sure which fair-haired man in robes I'm supposed to be praying to anymore. And those sycophants. Specifically related to the Jesus picture, apparently Riley Gaines had suggested that Trump take the image down, and so when he did, Trump was asked by a reporter if he deleted it because of her. He responded, I didn't listen to her. I'm not a big fan of Riley Gaines. Riley responded with 3 paragraphs of blathering about how, I love the president, but I do nothing for the approval of man. You do for that man. 3 paragraphs of, oh, I love him and I know he probably didn't mean it personally. Grow a fucking spine. But you won't, because you love being trotted around Congress, being a puppet for his anti-trans bills because you tied for 5th in a race with a trans woman and made that your whole life. Which brings us to another one of his saggy nut huggers, Caitlyn Jenner. One of the first really public celebrities about transitioning. She's a big Republican. In fact, she basically voted for the fact that her passport now has to say male, making it pretty much impossible for her to travel internationally. At least according to her. So she says she wrote a letter to Trump. Wrote a letter. Dear Mr. Trump, please, can I have my passport say lady again? I still love you, but I want to go to Thailand. I don't know, England? Thanks, Mr. President, sir. Did you send him a daughter to sweeten the deal? They vote for the leopards to eat their faces, and then politely ask them not to. Going to war because Israel told you to, fighting with the Pope, and pretending to be Jesus, and his approval rating is still 37%. The same as Obama's at one point. You remember Obama? The guy he posted an AI video of as a monkey? Another thing I didn't do a video about, which brings us to the third reason I've kind of shut down the mine. People who don't like Trump don't want to hear comedy about him this often either. The late night shows that do make fun of Donnie constantly, their ratings are in the shitter. And sure, cable TV itself is dying as slowly as the population who still watches it. But you talk to those Democrats who really have the TDS, they are sick of hearing about him, even if it's making fun of him. I've had people in my own audience tell me this. Oh, I won't click on videos about Trump anymore. I can't even laugh. It's not funny. Just hearing his name hurts my feelings. So then who am I entertaining by talking about whatever dumb thing he's done? Whether it's getting FIFA to give him a participation peace prize because the Nobel people wouldn't, and then starting 2 wars after saying he wouldn't start any wars, or posting that he was going to commit a war crime on Easter while saying fuck. The president now openly says fuck, and we're not laughing about the absurdity of this? Maybe that's the secret, why this all works for him. You have one thing, be it the inability to spell, throwing up sushi, lying about politics, not being able to remember an idiom, tripping on some stairs, or getting an intern to suck you off under the desk, and everyone on both sides can laugh about that. You have all of that, plus 100 more things? His defenders go, "Boy, you're just getting mad at every little thing because you hate him. Shut up, I don't want to hear you say his name anymore." And his detractors go, "I can't take it. Shut up, I don't want to hear you say his name anymore." Turns out, he is a great unifier after all.